Hi, good evening. Please confirm if I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neha. Thank you so much for confirming. Please. Let's wait for 2 more minutes, then we'll start the class. Hi, good evening. Let's start the class. I don't think that we have more participants in the lobby, so let's start the session. How are you? This is our third class in the row, and I need to understand that we got some task in the first class. Second class, we got some broad understanding of thematic questions when we very briefly touched upon the factual questions as well. Now today we have to explore and understand a few things which are very helpful when it comes to enhancing your reading skills. I have one housekeeping announcement. Please make sure that you are keeping your cameras on. We are interacting. We need to discuss a lot of things. I'll be asking a lot of questions. Like last class, like the previous class, I'm going to assign some tasks to you, so you got to be fairly active and interact. It should be, as I often say, that it has to be a two-way traffic. Thank you so much, all those who just put the cameras on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, going ahead on this and quickly discussing what we have, quickly brushing up what we have discussed in the previous class. First class, if you distinctly remember, we touched upon on understanding how to connect the things, basically how to connect the word from and make a sentence, how to understand that sentence and take it forward to understand whole paragraph and connect one paragraph versus to the next paragraph, and then enhance the comprehension level throughout. Now, in the second class, we understood what all are thematic questions, what are the themes, what is a broad classification, and at the same point of time, we understood how to understand and differentiate among those themes. I hope I'm sure, because when it comes to homework, I'm sure we are going there, we are achieving the milestones, right? So I'm going to take it forward again today. I'm going to discuss with all of you. Thank you so much, guys, or those who put the cameras on. Thank you so much. I just need to understand what you are reading. One by one, I'll quickly touch base what you're reading, what you're doing. Is there any challenge you're encountering, and all. May I start with Neha Shinde, please, if you don't mind, Neha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the reading agenda? What is happening?
Sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
Oh, am I audible now?
There's some problem with my network, so that's why I guess.
No problem. We'll come back to you. No problem. Ritika, Khushi, if I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Ritika, what are you doing in terms of blogs, books? Is there any particular thing you have started on?
Books, blogs, I'm reading Aeon essays. I was reading 3 last week, but this week I've only read 1.
Which essays last week?
Last week it was about psychological effects of dreams.
Oh, wow. Who's the author?
That kind. That I don't know.
Hey, listen, if you need to understand and read about psychology, go to any write-up of Freud, especially abnormal psychology by Sigmund Freud. It's very interesting. The aspect of interpretation is very interesting. So if you're interested, try to explore this. Thank you so much. Khushi and Utkarsh, can I please request you to unmute yourself? First, let's go with Khushi. Khushi, any particular thing you're trying, or you're just going to be the classes only, no additional things?
I just started with a novel by Colin Hoover, and apart from that,
wow,
yeah,
how's it?
It's good. I've just started 2 days back.
You trust me. Tell me honestly, you find the beginning interesting?
Not really. No, beginning is not very interesting, but like I've been suggested by so many people that when you dig deep inside it, you will find it interesting.
It will actually help you to hook yourself, to anchor yourself with the text, basically, and it actually helps you to boost your sitting and your understanding and familiarity with the black and white, right?
Also, sir, I started with Aeon essays, but the problem is basically they are not very interesting. So it's very difficult to keep yourself engaged and concentrated to that. That's the
whole idea. Thank you, Khushi, for being honest. That's the whole idea. We may not find a lot of things enchanting, lot of things interesting, but we have to develop that interest. You remember that was the whole idea of our first class. So we have to go there where we can explore the unexplored paths, right? Where we develop and we enhance our comfort zone. Thank you so much, Khushi. Utkarsh, can I just bother you? Okay. What are you doing?
Sir, I have read different blogs about technology related.
Blogs?
The blog.
Okay.
From tech gadgets and gadgets, etc.
Interesting. Very good. So 3 blogs in a row dealing with technology?
Actually, I haven't read psychological and physiological related to sports and technology.
Unfortunately, it is your voice is muffling for me. I'm not sure.
Yes, sir, because I'm in the library.
Carry on.
Sir, it's because I'm in the library, so I have to speak.
Okay. No problem. Then I would not trouble you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Akshay, Aksh Pandey, Mihir Dhar. Mihir, are you referring to the CL books which are given to you? Have you started practicing?
Actually, no, sir. I have this internship in Bangalore.
It's very honest and innocent confession.
Yes, sir. Because if I say yes, you'll say okay, very good, and I thought I
really appreciate. Thank you so much. That's the reason I'm saying it's very honest confession. I'm so proud of you. Yes, that should be the real picture.
Yes, I mean I have the books. It's just like I don't get the time because I have this internship going on in Bangalore, and it's basically on performance basis. So you have to keep up with the work they are giving, and don't lag behind.
Okay. So I have a suggestion, Mihir, don't indulge into some serious business, right? Get some like a small piecemeal kind of thing when you're walking, when you're doing something, or when you're hitting the bed. Just read it like a.
Yeah, sir. I was actually coming to that. I had purchased this book, the Mahabharata Quest, written by Christopher Doyle, and I actually bought it from a mall, and I found the backstory basically a summary that is written on the back cover of the book, and I found it interesting because I have
what it is all about.
I read only the first 2 chapters. It's like basically a kind of conspiracy where like a disease is set loose in the world, and all they have to find the cure for it is in finding the solution for the Khandapras, and so they lead a team for all and that. So I just read only 2 chapters of it, and that too when I came to Bangalore in January. But then I just couldn't touch it. I'm trying to, but since the weekend is tomorrow, so I'll find my time and start reading.
Perfect. I'm glad, Mihir. So do me a favor. In fact, start with a book if you can, please. That's wonderful. Else, take the piecemeal, as I said. Take the small reading material. Go for it. Go for the. If you want, you can go to George Orwell as well. If you want, you can just have brief or very short essays. Subscribe to some blogs or anything. So I prefer you can follow these.
How do I get to read these blogs? I mean, how do I?
Blogs, you got to listen. You have to find out a lot of places. I would ask somebody to share it on the Telegram, where we can subscribe to some sort of blogs which are travel blogs, which may be travel blogs, which may be cookery blogs for that matter, which may be art blogs or something which is related to aesthetics and philosophy. So I'll ask somebody to help you out. I have a whole list of these things. I'll be passing it on to the group.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. I think after Mihir, I'm going to jump to Aksh. Aksh, are you reading something? Are you practicing? Very briefly, tell me.
So me?
Aksh Pandey. Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
Sir,
Akash Pandey, right? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you reading something? Have you started doing the foundation books of reading comprehension?
No, sir, I've not started that book, but I'm reading a novel, How to Ikigai.
Okay.
Thomas, and I read newspaper.
How much is finished? Like a 10%, 20% of the book?
About 50 to 60%.
Interesting. Interesting. Try to finish it, then we'll jump on to the other aspects, right? Other books, other temperament. Thank you. Then I may go to Manisha Das. May I bother you, please?
Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
So I started reading Aeon essays, like particularly for the CAT portion. I read, like, there was an article on Aristotle about on the biology, mostly reproduction, and how sexist the whole biology concept.
Biology concept, right?
How it's a social construct from the beginning,
and how it poses the challenges as well.
Yes, and how it's still going on, like those construct says Bill has, like, it's still in the part of the philosophy and biology as a major part. And then I was reading Economic Times, but that never worked for me. I don't know. I just give up, like, within 5 sentences. I can't even finish like one page.
Oh.
It feels like there are too many economic terms. It's not like the vocabulary I can't grasp.
But you have to make yourself compatible with these terms, Anisha, because you know what has happened. In case we encounter such things, yes, it's going to be there. And also, moreover, when you go for interview, basically, or during the PDP session, or for that matter, rest of the during the MBA, you need to develop your comfort with those terms. I would not say start using those jargons or start respecting those jargons, but I would not request to venture that path, but I would actually request to develop the level of familiarity with these things. I'm glad you mentioned this. Try to do that. Try to take as I'm requesting, try to take the piecemeal, go ahead and then explore. So in fact, I suggest you one thing. Have you heard of this newspaper Mint?
Yes, sir.
Right. I really like this, and I know that I always carry this with me. And I would suggest the good part about this newspaper is it got the two fronts, and both, even the last page is also the front page.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. So they published like this way. So even the last page got some interesting headlines and all. Even the front page got a lot of interesting things. And the editorial is not per se editorial. It got different columns and sections which says my view, our view, their view. So they got the panelists and all that. Very interesting subjects they cover. So I prefer if you can subscribe to Mint Opinion online. It's an app, very interesting one to get. A lot of interesting subjects to get. Thank you so much. I'll quickly jump to.
Sir, sorry to cut
No,
you, but,
no problem.
So, like in Economic Times, like if you're reading and then you come across a term fiscal deficit, so it's not a term which you will be like finding in dictionaries or something. It has an economic, like it's an economic terminology.
Absolutely.
So how do you move forward? Like, do you have
Thank
to?
you so much. It's a very good question. Even if in a day, if you develop familiarity with the two terms, is going to help you. So for such matter, if you know somebody who is close to you, who can explain, like a friend, like a teacher, or if they can discuss, ask the person, or otherwise quickly Google it and understand it in a briefly. It doesn't matter that it should not happen that you start reading a whole blog describing physical deficit. Right? Just quickly get the overall understanding, and then understand the usage of that term in the reading, in the context you're reading. So you have to develop that one. And when you do that, this exercise, I know it hampers the speed, but we have some time. We can take that risk, right? So once that happens, it's superb thing. Gradually, you'll develop a lot of you'll understand a lot of such terms. But my point is, don't shy away from taking the references. Please take it, and don't worry that it's going to slow you down. That's absolutely all right at the beginning. I hope I answered a question.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. Now I'll be quickly jumping to Neha. I have asked. Not even one person has just mentioned has confirmed if we are using the books or not, Funda books. Anushka, tell me, are you using the Funda Books? Have you started?
Sir, I had started it a while ago, but then I left it because personally, I had given the previous exam that had happened, the prime mock CAT test. So in that, I had performed extremely horribly in the quant section. So the past few weeks, I've been actually working towards building that up a little bit, and so I've not been able to work a lot of questions for RC, but I have been reading. I have been. I'm a reader who leans towards fiction a lot, novels and murder mysteries, sci-fi.
Oh.
But
Who's your favorite
generally,
author in murder mysteries?
I wouldn't say murder mystery per se, but in thriller, I would say Dan Brown has been my favorite as of yet.
I was expecting, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, those are some really long books, but he somehow just manages to keep the interest going till the
But
last
you won't
page.
classify them as a murder mystery kind of thing. Like
Yeah, you can't really classify them
that
as
the
murder
element,
mysteries.
the
Well,
suspense element, basically, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
When you come to like pure murder mysteries, I think Agatha Christie is the best that you can get. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to expand a little bit more and work towards more non-fiction. So I've just recently bought a book called Rumi's Little Book of Life. So I'm going towards poetry a little bit, trying to include that.
That's very
And
nice. That's
yeah,
super, Manishka. You know, I really appreciate that you're taking the cognizance. You're working on something. You know what? It's absolutely fine if you're not attempting the questions, but if you're just solving reading the passages, I'm fine with that. So superb job. Try to change the gear, explore the other areas as you mentioned, and try to gradually move toward the Funda book as well. Sure.
yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'll quickly go to Khushi. We discussed, right? Did we? Okay. Vijay Lakshmi, may I bother you, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How are you doing, Vijay Lakshmi?
So I generally read Aeon essays, but I was not able to read them at least for this week because I wasn't well.
Oh,
So
you're feeling
I'll
better?
try to Yes, sir. I'm quite better.
Okay. No problem. Take care. No problem. I'll touch base you next week for sure.
Yes, sir.
Koshani?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Hi. Yes, sir.
Hi.
You are audible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, I was practicing a few RC passages as well from the Funda book, as well
Oh,
as,
brilliant. Till what level?
sir, not much, but then also the previous papers which we have had done. So, from those also, I was just going through the other passages. I think one of my friends also mentioned about Aristotle passage, so I found it common as well. So,
Okay.
and like, except that, I was also going through a few articles, but not really blogs. So, I couldn't do
That's
much
fine.
of.
Blogs are not it's look, listen, blogs are not written in the 10 commandments that you have to read blogs. That's absolutely right. The reason
Yeah,
I mentioned blogs, like, comparatively easier to start basically.
yes, I
You're
get
already reading, you're already indulged in a lot of serious reading, so that's absolutely fine, Kushi. I'm glad.
Yes,
Thank you.
and also like a few, I think I was reading a few topics on international relations as well because I'm also
From where you're reading these?
so actually because I'm a minor student of international relations, so basically
What are you
I have
pursuing?
I'm doing economics major, sir.
Oh wow, brilliant.
Yeah.
If we got the person to explain the physical deficit to us, guys.
Yeah, so fiscal deficit is
I know
basically.
we'll bother you later, no problem.
Okay, sir.
But
Thanks.
I'm glad that you're exploring these. It's very interesting subject, to be honest. So keep on reading
Yes.
international relation, jump onto some policy aspect as well, then change the topic, right?
Surely, sir. Thank you.
Ramar, how are you?
Fine, sir.
How are you doing?
Fine, sir.
Shishi, what kind of reading you're indulging right now?
Sir, I am starting reading a newspaper.
Okay. Anything other than newspapers?
No, sir, because
No.
Exam start.
No problem. I'll touch base you next week. So you got to start reading something interesting other than newspaper. Okay. I'll touch base you next week.
Okay.
Hi, Dave. How are you? Dave Chaudhary. Dave has decided to ignore me. No problem. Arushi Agrawal. Arushi, am I audible? Guys, rest of the class?
Sir.
Okay, who respond? Arushi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hi, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
I can't figure out where are you. Okay, perfect.
Sir, actually my video is off. Yeah.
No problem. Hi, Arushi. So tell me, what are you reading? What's the progress so far?
Sir, I've been reading a few novels and just like a few articles here and there that I find on the newspaper app that I have, and just my course books I've been reading.
What are you pursuing?
Economics major, sir.
Okay.
Economics major.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so perfect, Arushi. I think gradually we have to change the gear. We'll just indulge into other aspects as well. I hope you're with me.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Hey, class, I think I have asked all of you. In case I have missed to ask, please raise your hands. I just want to discuss touch base. Dave decided to ignore me, which is absolutely all right, Dave. When you're interested, let me know. We'll discuss. Other than this one, so I have understood broadly, and what I'm feeling is that we are all more or less at one level where we have to just change the gear and start indulging into something serious. Now, guys, I know that we read. I know at times it's very difficult to explore the different aspects as well. I know okay, Dave, I got a message. No problem. Thank you so much, Dave. No problem. So what happened, a lot of time we do not find where to go, what to read, and after reading, how to deploy that reading. So per se, in the sense of questions and answers. So now I unfortunately, nobody today came out and said, sir, I read, in fact, I tried to attempt the last class sheet because certain passages were unsolved. So
I did.
Oh, somebody did.
I just wanted to ask you for the answer key for that.
Did not you get it?
You sent it? No, I don't think.
I'm not in that group, so I'll request the admin to send it. So that's brilliant. So check the answers. In case you have any doubt, we'll discuss. Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So guys, that's what I wanted to request you. Please take these sheets very seriously. Start indulging into the other serious business of reading. At the same point of time, start finishing Funda book, because to be very honest with you, it's a lot. Trust me, it's a lot. And the Funda books are pretty serious for that matter. You got to just take them very seriously. And the moment when you take them seriously, you find out, okay, you're practicing versatility, you're doing a lot of things which are interesting, and you're working on your speed as well as your accuracy. Perfect. I'll quickly jump onto the sheet which I wanted to discuss today. So today what we are going to do, we are going to talk about certain subtle qualities, certain essential qualities, which a reader should have technically. Now, what is happening, when we read, we talk about a lot of things. Sometimes we read and we just ignore. Trust me, when you are indulged into serious reading, you have to start catching small things. And those small things makes big difference. Now, what has happened when I'm reading, and at the same point of time while reading, I realize certain words are coming, and I'm just catering those words, not paying much attention, and just jumping on. At the end of the day, what has happened, at the end of the passage, what has happened, I struggle with my understanding because I've conveniently ignored those words. Now, what we have to do, the first skill which we have to understand is to pay attention to these words. These could be in the form of adjectival phrases. These could be the verb phrases. These could be verbs. These could be adverbs. I hope we all know what are the adverbs. Right? Okay. So, when the moment when you start respecting these set of words, you start gaining confidence. As I got the question, we struggle with certain technical jargons and terms. That's absolutely right. Take the reference. So we can do that. So, how these words, how these phrases, or the set of words, basically sentences make difference. I'll just show you right now. So we have this passage here on the screen. Is it my, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's quickly read this in 1 minute only. This part, this passage, only these 2 paragraphs. Are we done? Now, what has happened? When we read these two paragraphs, what we have noticed, that how the phrases play the important role while describing the whole aspect. We noticed that while reading these terms, that these paragraphs, that monument in glorious ruins, one phrase, then we get the other description which comes out, Easter Island monolith. These are the synonyms to a certain extent, in the sense that both these terms express the idea of crumbling glory of past, right? That's the whole association. The certain words which I can see, the giant, icons, like these words, they are also the synonym and refers to the greatness, basically, right? So what I have to do, look, you won't make any head and tail out of it, to be honest. If you're not able to, that's absolutely fine. My point is, you pay attention to these words. If you're not getting meaning, I'm fine with that. Our first step is to start recognizing these phrases, these sentences, or for that matter, these qualifiers. Now, when we talk about the set of I'm sorry. Now, when we talk about these, the set of words, at the same point of time, when we read, we have to start paying attention to certain things, which is like the idea. So sometimes we get one idea, sometimes that idea is actually contradictory. Sometimes we get the information supporting that idea, and sometimes we see that the passage of the information or the paragraph started with one thought and has completely moved to the other thought, right? How? Let's read these two paragraphs right now, these three paragraphs. And I'm going to call out the names and we're going to discuss it quickly. Are we done? Okay. Now, can I ask somebody or somebody who can volunteer to explain how the flow of idea, basically? How it's recurring, how it's contradicted, and per se, what is the idea, basically? Volunteers?
I can go. Basically, this paragraph is about immigrants and how they're doing in the country. So first, they start with a happy and hopeful snapshot, as they mentioned. They give two examples, and then they introduce a contrast, and then they give two examples that are not so good.
Yes. So if I ask, thank you so much, Mritika. It's very nicely explained. So you know what has happened if you see the flow of information, we got the two examples supporting the positives. At the same point of time, we got one example going with the negatives, right? But my question to the class is, what is the theme, or what is the idea, or what's the focus point? Mritika, you won't be answering. Mritika, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So guys, class, can somebody tell me the idea, the main idea, not the main idea per se, the thought around which these examples are quoted? Class, one word.
May I, sir?
Yeah, of course, please.
So, in my opinion, the main idea would be that immigrants are not always that good, as the author explained in the first paragraph.
Okay. No, it's a very well super try, to be honest. But you know what has happened? What you are saying is a conclusion, right? But unfortunately, he hasn't drawn any conclusion, right? He has given two pieces of information. So what you said is right, is absolutely right. But the first part, the idea is immigrants, their goods and their bads. You with me? Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, quickly jump on the third passage, keeping pace with inference. This is very interesting, by the way. Hey, when you're done with this page, let me know. I'm going to turn the page. Sure. One paragraph is on the next page. Please let me know when you're done with the first three paragraphs. Please, we'll move to the fourth one. Should I scroll to the next page if you're done with the three paragraphs? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Are we done with the 4th paragraph? Everyone, just one more minute. I find this very interesting. You know why? If you see the flow of information, one statement is made and then something is quoted, which basically goes against or goes away from that belief, right? Can somebody, or can anybody for that matter, discuss this paragraph with me quickly? Volunteers? No one? Miss Shinde, may I bother you, please, if you don't mind? Can you please help me out, Neha?
Sorry, sir, I didn't got it.
Sorry?
I didn't got it. Don't
You
mean
did
to.
not, you
I
did
didn't
not get,
understood it.
no problem. That's absolutely fine. No problem. Mihir, can I request you? No, okay. Anybody?
This paragraph
Latika, no, you finished last time. I'm so sorry. I'm extremely sorry. I'm just stopping you. So sorry. So sorry. Anushka Sharma, can I ask for the help? Can you help me, please?
Sir, as far as I understood, it started with quoting that an evolutionary biologist says that humans are the uniquest species of all, and
yes.
But then
hold on there. It says that humans are special or unique, but at the same point of time, Anushka, what has happened? This belief is challenged with certain examples, isn't it?
Yes, so throughout the paragraph, it states various features that we think that are special to humans, but through research and experiments, it has been proven that is present in other primates as well.
Absolutely, you're giving me bullseye answer. Why were you saying you have understood like broadly? No. That's absolutely correct understanding. Kudos. Now what has happened? If you see all these examples which are quoted show the overlap between human and per se other species of monkeys, and it leads to a conclusion that humans are not that special. So don't believe in the false assumptions. Don't live in the false assumptions, right? And what has happened, it draws conclusion that you're not so special, which is a very general thought. And interestingly, inferences is drawing based on it regularly, and it says certain examples are frequently quoted to contradict the general belief, isn't it? Throughout the passage, all these last three paragraphs, you got the incidents quoted which are against the general belief that we are superior. If you're superior, that you can actually get the heart from one other species, right? And the other aspects as well. So I hope you understand what I want to convey. We got to just understand the inference, and you know what? Don't stay with that. That's the biggest problem. The moment when we understand, okay, something is quoted, somewhere our passive brain or sleeping brain make this assumption, okay, this paragraph is about biological development. Hold on, it is not. And I can assure you, almost like all of us, after reading the first paragraph, got this assumption, right? But gradually when content progressed, you realize, oh, we got something interesting. So pay attention to these things. Now, what has happened? Now, the other part which basically count as a nuance of reading is, of course, the connecting word and the functions. So I would not be, in fact, because the time is actually not permitting us, we have very limited time here. So I would not be, in fact, taking you there to solve this. It's a kind of homework we can do, but let me quickly brief you about it. So what happened when you read certain words, when you read a paragraph, a lot of time paragraph starts with certain things like as, since, while in the form of adverb, of course, it builds the flow of, in these words build the flow or construct the flow of information. So be very careful in what context these words are used. At the same point of time, like certain words are like starting with certain sentences starting with rather. So you got a very quick click that, okay, something is there which is going to be in the form of comparatively rather, right? So what has happened, what we need to do, we need to pay attention to these words. Even while reading, when you find out conjunctions, please be very careful and mindful about these conjunctions. Because my request is not that you can just by reading these conjunctions or by understanding these conjunctions, you can get the whole essence of the paragraph. No, you cannot. But while pausing at these conjunctions, you will strengthen and you will cementing your understanding with the passage, right? This is the homework for you, this aspect, right? I'm requesting you to jump on to exercise. Now, very quickly, what we have to do, I just give the background quickly. What happened? We get the introductory statement. A lot of time when we get the introductory statement, we assume that, okay, this is what it begins with and this is what it will end with. Though we have no control over the flow of the information, but to a certain extent, if our understanding of the introductory paragraph is strong, we set up the foundation and we start developing onto that. It helps us to understand the flow. It helps us to better inference the information, and it helps us to better answer the questions which are thematic. Okay, so what has happened here? On this page, we have 5 interesting paragraphs, very short paragraphs. These paragraphs are different in temperament and nature. These paragraphs are written in a very different format as well. Read it with a peace of mind. And on the next page, we have these questions. We have rather 6 paragraphs here. One, we'll discuss that later. We have to categorize these paragraphs, that which paragraph is basically a kind of summary, which paragraph is basically kind of anecdote, which paragraph is the elucidation. So we'll do that later. Let's start solving these paragraphs. Let's read first. Let's finish these 5 paragraphs quickly. I can give you 10 minutes to do this, please. Are we done with these 5? Okay, guys, I think we're good. Are we? You know, when I was a kid and my teacher used to ask me question, if we never reply, our teacher is like, okay, we got the pin drop silence. Now, unfortunately, in the virtual class, everybody is muted, so we always get that pin drop silence, number one. So when you ask a question, people just don't reply. You got the expressionless faces, so like a blunt faces. So it gives me the impression, abhi nahi hua, baba. Give them some more time. Huh? So hopefully, guys, I don't know. Honestly, I have no clue. Are you done? You're still doing? You're giving me no impression, honestly.
Yes, sir, done.
It's done. Thank you.
Yes, sir, done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm changing the page. Do you want to read 6th one or just we just solve these 5, guys? Do you want to read the 6th one? You want to read the 6th one? Okay, read it. Okay, I think we are good. let's go one by one, right? So we have the questions here, the predefined categories. We have the question to hold readers' attention. We have an analogy or a comparison, summary of the main points, an example or anecdote, or elucidation of the subject matter. What's the meaning of elucidation?
So to explain.
Sorry?
So to explain.
To explain, yes, thank you. Yes.
Explanation.
Yes. What is rhetoric?
Sarcastic.
Sorry?
Sarcastic.
No.
So written in a beautiful manner.
Yes, rhetoric means something which is explanatory, something which is classific, something which clarifies things, something which builds on one concept. That way.
Something which is persuasive.
Yes, very much. Yes. Okay, let's start in a reverse order. I think first one, 6th one. Which one? Where would you classify this? 6th one. Are you finding it an example or anecdote or question to hold the attention, or basically summary of the main point, or analogy and comparison, which is actually not there, or rhetoric, or elucidation of the subject matter? Where would you put it? Hey, listen, guys. This paragraph simply talks about the various opinions on the subject, right? And what's the subject? It's like diplomacy and its role. It's like diplomacy and its role. A topic that would actually, don't you feel that it requires further elaboration? So this one paragraph actually filled with a lot of information. Per se, the information is what? Diplomacy and its role. Where it goes, it depends. It explores all these things. So if I say it explores, it explains the role, where would the classification comes?
Elucidation.
Yes, that's elucidation, isn't it? Because if I read it, if I keep on reading, it says Many see war simply as a failure of diplomacy rather than its complement, and some argue, many, and then we go, and some argue that statesmen should not even consider using military power until. After this, we read, the next one comes, I'm leaving few words here, but the belief that force make any kind of diplomacy all but impossible, that the angry blowback of elite and popular opinion in other nations necessarily overwhelms all diplomatic efforts. So it's just talking about diplomacy and its role, right? When I said talking about means what? It is building on this thing, right? It's developing on this theme. So answer is simple elucidation of the subject matter. So you can put 6 here where the 5th is written. Now if I have to go to, okay, 5th is very interesting. You know, guys, have you received this sheet? You have received? No?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. If in case you have received, I'm not sure. I just take the page here. Okay. This introductory text I did not classify here and explain is fair enough to explain. Like rhetorical devices used in text help to emphasize association, clarification, focus, arrangement, decoration, and variety. So if you see, rhetoric is like one of the broadest theme. Okay, now I'm going back. 5. Is it? I'm not sure. It's an example quoted here. We do not have any example here. So it goes out. We do not have any question raised here. It goes out. It's not per se even a summary of something, right? It's not summary of something. It is, I'm not sure if it's offering analogy or it's rhetoric or it's elucidation. Elucidation is actually ruled out, right? It goes out. So you're left with what? Does it offer any sort of analogy or comparison? No, it is not. What is it? It's rhetoric. It clarifies, it builds upon, it explains, right? What it explains, it says, you know, he raises the question about exclamation mark to begin with. Then what he does, he says, he further goes to the details of this thing. It's a further construction of thoughts. The first line, which is actually raised the question, how could you miss the question marks like this? I mean, this way. And this is the start of rhetorical tone. And it goes, obviously, that there are so many, there were so obvious tones here which are connected to what? Exclamation mark here, right? So it's per se, for that matter, rhetoric. Third one. There are 2 reasons to read Paul Berman's latest book. The first and the second. What it should be. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed something. I'm so sorry. Fourth one. My bad, guys. I'm sorry. Fourth one.
So the 4th one is an anecdote.
4th one is an anecdote. Why do you say so?
Sir, it is talking about someone explaining an experience they had while they were acting or shooting with someone. So that will be an anecdote.
No, it's not an experience. I request you, Anushka, pay attention to just one line. I'm reading it, right? It says, as good as anything gets. Okay. And then read further. Very interestingly, it says, to me, it felt as if our brains were connected by a blistering hot wire that could have generated spark at any minute. And then it further built on it. So what happened? A kind of comparison, my part and his part, right? So for that matter, I would not say it's an anecdote. It's nowhere an anecdote, basically. We do not have like an example quoted. Guys, class, this is not fair. We are left with only 4 options. No, rather 3 options, right? What it should be?
It's a summary maybe.
मैंने simply पढ़ा. कहाँ चीज होती है जहाँ पे हम comparison करते हैं? खुशी? What is the meaning of the word analogy?
Comparison.
Yes, it's a comparison. And what is going to return, guys, understand, Khushi, you have to understand it's an introductory part. It just put the seed. It just set the tone. And subsequent, I distinctly remember I said while discussing this part, and the subsequent information in paragraph will gradually build upon it, right? So built upon how it's compared. But the introductory part is the comparison. Okay, so that's an analogy. You with me, Khushi? Thank you. Third one. Anybody who answers third will get 1 5-star from me. Hope you all are based in Noida. No?
For me, I guess it's summary.
Okay.
Google Pay, sir.
Google Pay? Okay, sir, done. Done, Google Pay, done. Okay. Okay, sorry, Manisha Das, you're saying something. I'm so sorry, I missed that part. Sorry, Manisha, you said something.
Sir, I guess for me it's summary.
Summary of what, Baba?
Like there is a point that there are 2 reasons. So it's it's based on supporting reasons they are given.
Superb. No. It's not supporting anything. It's just giving you the summary of the reasons why one should read this.
Like supporting reasons, I thought. Yeah.
Absolutely right. The whole discussion is what is based on the first line. What the first line says. It simply says 2 reasons to read duck. Right? And what these 2 reasons are mentioned, isn't it? Everybody, guys, are you with me? It's summary. Second, very easy. No, we should not in fact asking about it. What it should be second?
Reader's attention.
Sorry?
It's a reader's attention.
Utkarsh, sorry.
It's a reader's attention.
Reader's attention.
The question to hold reader's attention.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, yeah. Questions to hold reader's attention. So if you see the way it is written, it's one question, then further expansion with another question, then question, right? So it's like introducing some elements of suspense or curiosity so that people just keep on reading the other part, right? Interesting. I have a question. We are left with just one option, but my question is, I know what is that option we are left with? An example and anecdote. Okay. My question is why? Why it is an example? Why it falls in the category of example or anecdote? Guys, so you got the answer. It's an example, of course, for that matter, right? But why? Which example? I tell you why. If you read this paragraph, you find out from 1, 2, 3 here. From this part till this part, it's quotation mark. Okay, everybody, are you looking at the screen? Guys, I don't know. Akash Pandey, your reaction? You with me? Okay, okay. Okay. And then you see further, she wrote, and again question mark. Are you with me? Sorry, not question mark, the quotation mark. My bad, sorry, the quotation mark. Now, what has happened here? Author will require the subsequent paragraphs to elaborate on this. He has just quoted one person, isn't it? It's an example he took. and he's not giving any views on it. Trust me. Are you finding any views here? No. It's just the quotation marks, right? Just the original thought, right? No further built on this. So we'll need some subsequent paragraphs to be explained, to be added, right? To explain this one. So it's a best example of being an example and being an anecdote. Everybody with me? I'm happy to answer your questions.
Sir, but the examples are not in the paragraph itself, no? I mean,
it is in the summary of this person, a 40-year-old statistician at the Social Security Administration in Washington, D.C., published an article in Social Security Bulletin entitled Children of the Poor, comma, the wonders of science and technology applied to the generous. Again, the same thing. What it is as it is from there. Right? So what has happened? We just quoted this write-up, which was published somewhere. Quotation from that write-up. We don't know in what context it's quoted. Are you getting any idea about the context? I'm not finding it, honestly. I don't know if it's basically doing the analysis. I don't know if it's basically critical of this one. I have no idea. I just got an idea that it's a quotation from this gentleman's work, but no head and tail. When I have no head and tail, with the explicit quotation, I mean with the explicit mention of the work with the quotation, then of course it's the best example of being an example, right? And listen, guys, read this carefully. Read this question. Take a look at the following introductory text. So this is the introductory text. It will further elaborate, right? The introductory text has actually introduced one example, and it will further be elaborated. Feel free, ask more questions if you have any. Otherwise, I'll quickly jump on to the next one. Okay. Exercise 2. It's a long passage, huh? Let's try to do that in 10 minutes quickly. It's running into the 2 pages. I do not know how to switch it. So when you're done with the first page, or if you have it open before you, please read it. Guys, tell me, is it not shared with you? The sheet?
It is.
All of us have it?
Yes.
Hey, brilliant. I should not be bothered. Go on with your pace. Quickly read it in 7 minutes. 7 minutes to read it. Last 1 minute. Should we discuss the answers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First one. Which one of, give me a second. Which one of these is false when it comes to the author's mention of well-known authors and pseudonyms that they have employed? Which one is false? Guys? Harry Patterson was not an alter ego of Ian Rankin. Yes, he's not. Ian Rankin realized that the use of the pseudonym provided him with the freedom to write. Of course it did. Jack Harvey was a pseudonym of Ian Rankin. Yes, it's mentioned. I think it's mentioned in the 8th and 9th paragraph. Stephen King wrote that pseudonym because he was very prolific. Yes, he was very prolific. He wanted to write different stuff. Hugh Marlowe had to restore to many Nas Diplom since he was a very prolific author. What is the meaning of Nas Diplom? Pseudonyms, to take the pen name. Okay, now it's written here. Just give me a second, I find out. Yeah. So Hugh Marlowe was a pseudonym for Jack Higgins. It's written here. Sorry, guys. Can you help me out? Because that's not the. So it says the first option says Hugo Marlowe had to restore to many pseudonyms, right? Which is not true because Hugh Marlowe himself was a pseudonym of Jack Higgins. Question second. What was the problem with phrase Jonathan Freeland of the Guardian? It's here. This paragraph. No, sorry. This paragraph. What is the problem, guys? What was the problem with the phrase Jonathan Freeland of the Guardian? The problem was, it says people would start considering that a columnist is actually working on a book, right? So it would have made people think that the book is an intellectual piece and alienated some of them. People are like, no, don't go. He writes very serious stuff in the newspapers, in the columns. So don't go for the book, basically, right? Just check this book off. It says here, Jonathan Freeland of the Guardian might send the wrong message. I suspected I knew what that meant. Pointy head columnist for pointy head newspaper. It does not exactly screams mass appeal. So the worry is my specialty, my work, my past work would hamper the progress of the book. So that makes option 3 correct. We jump on to the question 3. What is the difference between the motivations of Eric Blair and George Eliot in choosing pseudonyms? Guys, you got to answer it. These two paragraphs. What was the reason Eric Blair opted for it and George Eliot?
To avoid embarrassment.
Sorry?
So to avoid embarrassment.
Yes, for the family. Yes, right. And what about George Eliot? You know the original name of George Eliot was? She took the pen name to write as a man, but her name is what? Mary Ann Evan, basically. Mary A. Evan. MARYANNEVANS. What makes the answer here? Option third one. Third question. One person wrote to avoid the embarrassment for the family. The other person is because of the sexism, right? So that makes my choice 3 correct. The former wanted to avoid embarrassing his family, whereas the later knew that male novelists were held in higher regard. So tragic, right? Now, fourth, what is the point the author makes using the example of Barbara Vine and Madeleine Wickham? It's like use as many pseudonyms as you can because it gives you the freedom to write different stuff, the different temperament with a different name.
But they were the best sellers.
Sorry?
So they were the best sellers, like Madeleine Wickham.
Yes, that makes answer what? Fourth one.
Probably.
Second, they used the pseudonyms also made them write differently because they got to cater the different topics. Fifth, I'm not going to give the answer. You got to tell me fifth. Very generic. It's in the beginning of paragraph. What was the reason behind the instance of everyone insistence of everyone for the author to have a pseudonym?
So fifth option.
Who said?
Sir, Anushka.
Anushka. Okay. Why do you think fifth is the right one?
Sir, he already had a reputation as a writer in The Guardian. So he did not want that to interfere with the book, which was not related.
Exactly. He was like, the moment when I come out with my original name, people will actually be biased, right? And it may hamper my original work. Okay. So yeah, that's what. And I know that I can whatever expressions I'm getting or the reactions I'm getting, I believe you guys are not very excited with this paragraph. Or perhaps you're tired. I'm not giving this sheet as a homework to you. I'm not giving it. If you want to attempt maximum as a homework, you can attempt passage 2. But passage 1 again of exercise 3, mind mapping. I'm going to do it for you. So I just take you. This passage is homework. Of course, we can take that, but do not go beyond this passage. So when it comes to the mind mapping section, I want you to hold it. I want you to do this with me, first exercise, and then do. So we'll continue with this sheet in the next class. I hope this is fine with you. Guys, are we fine to carry on this? People, I said, whatever you say, done, just close the class, we're tired. And people are like, yes, you got it right, sir. Okay, no problem. Sure. So whatever is homework for you. Mind mapping, we're going to discuss in the next class. If you have any doubts, please let me know right now. Okay, Shishir, go to mute, please. Go on mute. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for your time. Okay, Utkarsh, you're asking something? Are you raising hand?
No, I was just stepping.
Okay, okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much everyone for your time. Friday evening. Have a good weekend. Try to read some interesting stuff. Okay, try to solve this one passage which is given as a homework, and then come back fresh next week. I'm going to ask. I know I have to discuss a couple of things with Shishir, and I think her name is Miss Vashisht, right? I forgot her name completely. She just logged out. Okay, no problem. So we'll be chatting next week. Raj as well, right? Raj Chaudhary. Okay. So rest, guys. Please take care. Do this sheet, and in case you need any help, drop one message in the group. I'll be available. Though I'm not added in that group, but yes, administrator will let me know in case you have any questions for me. Sure. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.